Thanks for clicking into the channel today. Glad you choose to make it a great day. This is episode 2 of the 3 secrets of how to get approved for hip replacement. I'm out this morning. It was raining all night, so if I seem a little bit scruffy and distracted, it's because it's early, about 20 minutes before sunrise, and there's a lot of water and puddles everywhere. But let's talk about the 3 secrets. Yesterday, we talked about exercise and how important it is to get at least 10,000 steps in. Now, clearly, you're not going to be able to get 10,000 steps in if you haven't had the surgery yet. You're going to build up and do what you can. After the surgery, it'll be impossible to do that immediately, but slowly but surely you can work up to it. And in a later episode, I'll talk to you about exactly what equipment and how many steps I took and how later. But for today, in episode 2, I want to talk about of the 3 secrets. And again, those are exercise, eating right, and exploring. Episode 2, we're going to talk about eating right. Now, eating right is all about what you're putting into your body. And that could mean the food, and it can mean the medicine. So let's take the first one because that's the hot topic. And I think that's medicine. I had hit a plateau where I wasn't losing anymore. I have type 2 diabetes. It's controlled now. But my doctor is saying, look, Bruce, you need some help with this. You're eating all the right things. You're fasting. You're exercising. And you're not losing weight. And my personal care physician said, we need to get you on a medicine that will help with the type 2 diabetes and the blood sugar control. You're almost in the green, but not quite, so we have some room for improvement there. And originally, he had recommended going on a semaglutide. And we did do that, a very low dose. He started me out very low and moved it up just a little bit, because you want to have a conversation with the doctor about potential side effects. Now, they can step things up to where you're not hungry ever, but there are side effects that come along with it, and some of them aren't that fun. There's constipation, there's diarrhea, there's nausea, and all of those things are unpleasant. Now, when I went on the semaglutide at first, a low dose, I was having severe nausea, but I was fighting through it because I was determined to get some help. And it was helping me a little bit. But, and here's the big thing that a lot of people don't realize when it comes to hip replacement surgery or any surgery. The people calling the shots are at the insurance company. They're going to approve whether you get the medication, whether you get the surgery. Yes, your surgeon wants to do what's safe for you and wants to make sure that your health and their liability is in great shape. Now, you can't really blame the surgeon. They need to protect their reputation, and they need to protect their business, and they need to do what's right for you as a patient. So they will operate within those areas. But the insurance company, it's all about numbers. They want to make sure that every single thing in the world has been done, whether it's exercise, dieting, other medications that are much cheaper, or if, for instance, you've had steroid shots. And have we tried those for years? Have we pushed it to the point where it just doesn't work anymore? And for me, that was almost a 4-year journey of the insurance company just not being in a position to approve. And that was a real wake up for me because I thought they were there to help me. Well, they're there to cover me only when there's no other choice. So when I finally was prescribed the semaglutide, even at a low dose, I was very happy that I finally broke through the plateau. I wasn't losing a lot, but at least there was progress again. After a couple of months, though, I get a letter which sent me into a little bit of a tizzy. The letter basically said, oops, sorry, we're not going to cover that medication anymore. Please get with your doctor and see if there's something else that's on our approved list that we can approve for your insurance. Well, I went into, I'm going to advocate for myself mode. Went to the doctor, which was really tough because you know how easy it is to get an appointment these days. Well, I finally got in, and it turns out that no, there was no way I was going to get that medication. Well, I researched myself with the insurance company. Sorry, we're at a really busy intersection here. I'm going to pause a second to make sure that I'm safe and get across the street. Sorry if it's a little bit loud. All right, let's go. So I jumped in and I researched myself what medications the plan would approve. And one of them was Trizipatide. So I talked to my primary care physician, and he was willing to move me from the semaglutide to Trizipatide. And one of the things that I mentioned is, based on my research, that the Trizipatide had fewer side effects. So he moved me over to that, again, at a very low dose. Now, I started losing weight with all the exercise and the diet, fasting, everything else I was doing. And that was terrific. He suggested that it be moved up because the insurance company is saying, hey, we normally see increasing dosages. Again, who's calling the shots here? The surgeon, the doctor, or the health insurance company? It's a good question. We're going to assume that they all are working on my behalf, right? So I talked to the doctor about it and said, no, look, I'm having very few side effects. I'm losing a half pound to a pound a week, and my blood sugar's under control. Why would we change that? So he pushed back with the insurance company, and they finally approved it. But in the meantime, I didn't know if I was going to have the medication. It was actually due for a refill, and I couldn't get it on time, which, you know, that's not a great thing for type 2 diabetes, not having your medicine to keep the blood sugar under control. So we battled through it, and I got back on track. Now later, when I had been on it for a while and kept losing a half pound to a pound a week and was very happy about that, what happened was the insurance company again had trouble filling the prescription. I had to bounce around from different pharmacy to different pharmacy in order to be able to find it. I live in the Houston area, and sometimes I was driving a half hour to 45 minutes just to find my prescription that needed to be refilled. So just be aware, these are all things that you need to be prepared to do if you go on that. Now my plan is, once I get down to my target weight, I'm going to be working with my primary care physician, and I'm going to start backing off on that medication to where it's gone. I've been able to reduce blood pressure medicines, other medicines that I'm down, and my goal is to get off everything as my health continues to be on target. Now, one bump that I had is when I went in for the surgery, they require you to stop taking the Trizipatide. Well, what happened was my blood sugar spiked. No kidding that it would spike. I was off what is supposed to treat type 2 diabetes. Now, it wasn't up super high, but it was out of the green, and that concerned me. Well, later, when it was time for the annual review and renewal and approval by the insurance company, they went to the doctor and said, hey, this guy's in the green. He no longer needs this medication. We're not approving it. So I, again, went into, I'm going to advocate for myself mode, and started having discussions through a physician's assistant or nurse with the doctor to make sure that they were pushing back on my behalf. And I had to point out that, hey, during the surgery, I didn't have this blood sugar control, and it went out of the green. It's not that I'm cured, it's just that my health and the type 2 diabetes is managed. Well, once that evidence was sent off to the insurance company, then they said, oh, okay, well, it's managed type 2 diabetes. It wasn't just miraculously cured. And they put in the approval. Now, when it comes to medicine, you don't want to have to rely on this for your entire life. The idea is to get off of it just as soon as you can. But you also want to get down to a target weight that their scales and their charts on BMI say is healthy. Now, I'm a tall guy. In my prime, I was 6'3". I think I've shrunk a little bit, but my BMI is still high, even though I'm getting pretty thin. So when you take a look at the scale of good healthy weight, overweight, obese, morbidly obese, I'm down there, but to get to a healthy weight, oh my goodness, I would be at a weight before I was bone thin when I was in high school. I don't know how practical it is, but my goal is to get down to a weight where I'm very comfortable, all of my blood work is in the green, and I'm feeling good. So I'm hoping that will come in the next year. And you'll get there if you need it. But that's part of eating right. It's what you put into your body, whether it's medicine, vitamins, or the food that you eat. So we've worked through of the 3 E's and the secrets to getting qualified for a hip replacement surgery. 1, which is some suggested exercises that work for me. They might work for you. 2, what to put in your body under a doctor's guidance and what to eat, but most importantly, when to eat it. Thanks for joining me today. Join me next time in How to Qualify for Hip Surgery, 3 Secrets You Need to Know. Episode 3. We'll be looking at food, what to eat, and when to eat it.